I was born in the 70s, so I love AC/DC. Let's talk about your 12-volt battery and how to take care of it in your boat. Welcome to Lens Cove Lessons in Boating. I'm Sean. Your 12-volt battery in your boat is probably one of the easiest things for you to maintain and can definitely save time on the water and help you not be stranded. A battery with improper connections or dirty connections doesn't charge properly and doesn't get a good current back to the starter or the rest of your electronics. So it can definitely leave you stranded if it's not charged or not charging by the alternator, or if you don't get current flow through to start the boat after you've had it off for a while. If you enjoy this video, make sure you throttle that like button, and please get on board for more by subscribing to our channel. On today's video, we're gonna cover the basics of a 12-volt battery, why it's important to clean the terminals and secure them properly, and how you would store it for the next winter. So your battery, just like in your car, is what we call a 12-volt battery, and it's a DC or direct current. And it takes charge from a battery charger if you plug it in, or more commonly from the alternator on your engine, and takes that alternating current in the alternator and then has a regulator or rectifier to turn it into DC to charge it up. So effectively, every time you turn the ignition key on, you get a 12-volt current going from the positive to the negative on the battery, and that's what you use to start your engine, power your lights, run the blower, anything that is a 12-volt or battery operated electronic on your boat, including stereo, VHF, all that stuff. So every year, at least once a year, we want to make sure that we clean the battery terminals well. And that goes for not only the battery itself. They'll either have a post with a stud on it when you put a nut on the end to clamp down the cable, or it'll have a male post that you clamp a end of cable over top of it, and either work fine, but you want to make sure that the battery terminal is very clean using a wire brush. That'll help get rid of any corrosion that's on there. And you want to make sure you also clean up the terminal itself at the end of the wire. And you may have only two, an engine lead for a negative and a positive, or you may have multiple wires that all terminate at the battery. Making sure that, of course, you put the positive on the positive terminal, which is a plus and most often red, and all the negatives on the negative terminal, which is a negative indicator on the battery and often black. Once you have the battery terminals cleaned well, you put the largest battery cable on first, and then add any smaller accessory cables on top of that, and then clamp it down with the nut, best with a locking nut if available, and really tighten it down well using a proper wrench. Hand tight will cause it to loosen up over time, and eventually you'll get corrosion building up in there and a loss of current. After you've cleaned the battery terminals well and you've tightened them up properly, make sure they line up so that they aren't over top of an edge or crisscrossed or anything. And then you're going to want to put the battery box lid back on and secure it. And that's really important for safety, so that if something were to inadvertently fall on that battery, like a wrench or a paddle that has an aluminum handle, that you're not arcing between the positive and negative terminal. So that battery box lid is very important for your safety. Each spring or start of season, you're probably going to want to charge the battery up with an independent plug-in battery charger to make sure that the battery voltage is up as high as possible and that you have as much stored energy as you can in the battery. In the fall, you're going to want to reverse the process, and you're going to want to disconnect at least all of the positive leads off the battery and clamp them together securely so you know where they are the next spring. By doing that, you're disconnecting the battery and making sure that no current flow happens over the course of long-term storage, and it will increase the longevity of your battery in the long run. Some people like to remove their batteries from the boat when it's long-term storage and store them indoors or keep them charged over the winter. And that can have a slight benefit to the length of time your battery lasts. If you're in a cold climate for storage, just like your car gets cold every time you turn it off and go in for the night, A battery in a boat can last perfectly fine in cold temperatures as long as it went away fully charged. Battery maintenance is super simple. Clean terminals, tight terminals, fully charged. Make sure you also check that no wires are loose at the cable ends because that can cause problems. It's amazing how many calls we get from stranded customers with battery voltage issues, and that's because they didn't take the 5 minutes to really hook it up properly. Batteries don't last forever. Usually a good marine battery will last anywhere from 3 to 10 years. We would say on average 5. So if you have an older battery and it's dead and needs boosting, you may want to consider changing it to give you less hassle in the future. Since we're on the topic of safety, check out this video here for all the safety equipment you might need on board your boat. Thank you for joining us on Lens Cove Lessons in Boating for today's video. Remember to like this video and subscribe for more. Be safe, have fun, and we'll see you out on the water.